What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another Square Golf launch monitor test. In today's video, we're going to be testing if the color of the tee makes a difference as far as driver goes, as far as better reads, worse reads, no reads, as far as the square goes. So if you guys have caught a lot of my earlier videos, these are just the white rubber tees that I would use back in the backyard with the Garmin R10. I actually use these on course too, just to keep it constant. But I was seeing a decent amount of no reads. There would be times where I was playing a course on GS Pro, and sometimes I would have to hit 2, 3, 4, 5 tee shots for the square to register one. And it would make sense. People have mentioned it. White's not recommended because as far as like the contrast goes, the square is looking for this bright white ball, and if you have not quite as bright, but you have a white tee there that could mess with it, so it's actually locking onto the tee instead of the ball, that kind of thing. So I ordered a big pack of these black rubber tees, essentially the same thing. Those are the two same heights, but I mean, they're super cheap. If you guys are curious, I can link them down below in the comments section. I just got these on Amazon. There was a bag of, I think, like 25 or 30 of them. They're all different heights. They did come with these that I use for driver, and they came with some where you put they came with some regular tees. You can put regular tees. They have like a little bit of a rubber backstop. You put tees into it if you want to do that as well. I just prefer using these and putting on top of the mat. But let's see what we can do here. So for the test, we're using brand new TaylorMade balls. Shout out to my Uncle Tony, got me these for Christmas. We're using some brand new TaylorMade balls just out of the sleeve. No dots, which I like to do because I like beating up these balls instead of the square balls. Got my driver out. Haven't hit driver yet today, so this should be interesting. And people that are curious, I just did a more continued test of trying out some of this new update stuff before, and I tried out some more of the tape. But this tape that I have on this shaft is the Amazon tape, the 3/4 inch that I put on here. So for anyone curious if this works as good as the original square tape, this would be a good kind of dual test at the same time. But what I'm going to do, we have 0 total shots pulled up. I'm going to hit, if I don't get too tired, 5 or 10 shots with each of them. We'll start with the white. We'll see what we get. We'll probably go 5 and 5 and see if we can draw any definitive conclusions. Spoiler alert, I did test. I've been using these black tees. They do seem to be better, but something like this where we have more of a definitive test as far as picking things up, we'll see. And if you guys caught my video that should be right before this, I do still have the unit raised up. My shank tank, I have a little more than 3/4 inch board underneath it, so raising the unit up, that seemed to give us the best results as far as club data goes. So I do still have that under there. Whether that is going to be my new constant, we'll see, but I am doing this test with the unit itself raised up about 3/4 inch. So let's try here with the white tees. And my thinking is I'll probably get a couple no reads, which will be the main issue. Maybe a couple really wonky ones. I've seen Joe Legowski. He had some tees where it literally picked up the tee that went flying to the right. It would go like 10 yards instead of tracking the ball. We'll see if we get one of those, and then we'll switch over to the black and see if any better results. But here we go. Keep an eye on the club data too, just kind of in the back of my head. So we got all the data there. What was the ball speed? 143 by the looks of it. Who knows? Maybe the new firmware and the new software update fixed maybe some of the tee issues, but that one, all things seem good there. 2,300 backspin. 143 ball speed, 252 total. Again, that was literally the first driver swing of the day. We'll see if we get a little more ball speed on some of these other ones. But it populated all of the club data. It said I said I had an ascending blow. That's good. There was a couple that I was saying I was hitting down on driver, which is kind of a little bit for me hard to believe considering how high I have these teed up. But so far, 1 for 1. Everything was good with the white tee. Well, that was Healy, but it did register again. What was ball speed? 143.5, rolling out to about 250 again. Everything seemed to work. We'll go again. Again, some of these testings, it's kind of tough to get definitive conclusions. Who knows if maybe they did part of the firmware and part of the software update. Maybe they made it better to where it has an easier job picking up the white tees. Maybe me moving up the unit on that board 3/4 of an inch is solving some of the things. Who knows, but we'll see. Maybe it'll just be a conclusion by the end of this that the tee actually doesn't matter as much. Maybe it's something else. But 2 for 2 so far. $145, I think that was. Hit up on it, 1.4, into out. Picked up all the club data again. Three for 3. That was a bit low on the face. My screen moved, so I'm trying to see what the ball speed was. 143.9. Picked up everything again. I was debating doing this test with a GS Pro. Not that it should make a huge difference, but for whatever reason, the side spin hasn't been going over to GS Pro. So I figured I might as well test it in the native software here. I know not everyone has GS Pro, but 4 for 4. All the club data populated. Everything seems to be good. $147. All right, before I get too tired. So that was 5 for 5. Everything seemed to work good on the white tees. Again, maybe they fixed something with the firmware of the software. Before I was getting a decent amount of no reads. It would be at least a few tee boxes every single round that I was playing across 18 holes that I have to hit it again. But as far as this goes, whether it was, again, the update, whether it was me raising up the unit, possibly solved it. To me, it seems like the firmware, considering I've been having that issue of you have to select, if you're hitting any kind of iron, pretty much driver, you have to have driver selected. Anything else, you can pretty much have anything else selected, but maybe that was part of it that solved it. But 5 for 5 as far as white rubber tees, so the white seemed to pick up pretty good. Now, let's try 5 with the black, and then we can possibly, I mean, if we get 5 for 5 on both, I guess it's not going to matter. We can hit a couple more, but bit low on the face, 145.9. Everything picked up. Carry kind of dropped down on that, but we're rolling out. 253. What was that one? 1.9 up. So again, people that were curious about the tape, every single one of these is with the Amazon tape on here, and it is. It's picked up every single one, so it does, in fact, work. Oh, that was toey. $143. Not the best swing in the world, but I picked up. What we got on the side spin on that? 451. Apparently, with these new updates, the side spin numbers are supposed to be a little bit reduced. Sometimes people were complaining about some of the side spin numbers they thought were over exaggerated. Some of them were well over 1,000, 1,500 side spin left or right. That one was definitely toey. I don't know if it's picking up or calculating any kind of gear effect, maybe. I don't know. But that one, tough to tell. I mean, that was definitely, it was a poor strike. It was off the toe. It was headed right. Tough to tell if that one was close to what the spin number should be or not, but also a bit toey. That one's drawing. Picked up all the data again, though. What do we get on that? 144. That is my one complaint with these black tees. Did seem like they were working better, but they are tougher to see. All right, so that's what, 3 for 3? Bit of a pull, but 147 on the ball speed. 239 carry. I think I have the 5% ball still selected. You can, within the square, you can do 0%, 5%, or 10%. Pretty sure I still have the 5% selected. That was low in Healy, 142. What number was that? Was that 9 or 10? That was 10. So, I mean, I guess I could stand here hitting them all day long. I guess for the sake of it, I was kind of surprised. I tried adding in the previous video, it was a longer one, if you guys see that. I tried adding a second layer of tape to my approach wedge. Thought maybe that would help, but definitely seems like raising the unit up a little bit has solved a lot of things. Besides, again, having to select your club. I guess besides driver is not the biggest deal, but I added the second layer of tape, and it registered literally none of the club path and club data on everything. So that was kind of surprising. And also, I thought we were going to have at least a couple no reads with the white tees. This is kind of surprising too. So who knows? Maybe it's temperamental. Maybe it's day by day. Maybe me raising the unit up helped. Maybe the firmware helped. But we got 10 out of 10 shots to register, which is good. And now, apparently, the white tees don't make a difference. You guys will have to let me know if you've been doing more testing than I have. Again, I've been really busy during this holiday season. I had a trip to Florida, so I was kind of out of the loop for a while. You guys will have to let me know with this new update if you think 0% is good now, if the 5% is better, or if you're still using the 10%. It seemed like the consensus was the square was a bit down on ball speed, so people thought that the 10% ball across the bag was a bit more accurate distance-wise. I don't know, an extra 5% on that total would have been like another 12 yards. So that would have put me up into like low 260s. $146, 242 carry. Better launch on that one apparently. Spun up a little bit, but 146.3. I was getting so frustrated before I made the trip. I was getting so frustrated with how I was hitting driver. I did put this is a 3-wood shaft back into my driver, so a little bit shorter, a little bit more easy to control. Yeah, you can't generate quite as much speed having the shorter shaft versus a longer shaft. You can generate more speed, but it'd be a little more erratic, most likely. So who knows if I'll stick with this or go back. But as far as the... All right, so that was more of what I expected. I think we had the ready. I'll have to go back and look. I'll have to check. I'm pretty sure that was locked in and it said ready. That one we did not get a read. So that was the first one out of, we hit 5 out of the black, so that was another 2. We got 1 out of 7 not to read with the white. I honestly thought that was going to happen sooner. I'll check once I edit this. I believe I've been teeing it up in the same spot, so I believe it was locked in and it said ready. I'll have to double check on that. That could have been me not having it in the right spot. I think it was, but I think we're going to call that the first no read with the white tee. Now we're back again. So that's kind of what I was seeing. I wasn't getting any of those super crazy ones where it was actually picking up the tee instead of the ball, but there were, like I was saying earlier, there were some shots on GS Pro as I was playing 9, 18 holes, whatever the case was. There were some where I would have to do that again. So the first tee shot wouldn't pick up, most likely because the white tee, it was messing with it, and then I would have to stand there and sometimes have to hit 1, 2, 3 extra tee shots, which is why I bought the black ones. We'll hit just a couple more just to see if we get any more of those. But you guys can take my word for it without having to go back and look at all my other videos. There have been a handful of those instances where I have to hit a couple tee shots, which seemingly, this is the first time I was doing a test, seemingly the black tees solve that. 241. It is a bit warmer in the garage today, which is nice. And I feel like I am, in fact, warming up just a little bit. What was the speed on that? 144. Still haven't gotten quite up to my low to mid 150s just yet. But I'm not exactly trying to swing out of my shoes on these. This one we'll see. Try to swing a little bit harder on this one. That was low on the face. 147. I'll have to see. I haven't seen any head-to-head tests with this new update, but it did seem like on average 2 to 3 miles an hour slower with the square versus other units. Triple bogey golf compared head-to-head, same exact shot with the square. First time he did it was with the Rapsodo MLM2 Pro. Across the bag, it was like 2 to 3 miles an hour slower with the square compared to that. And he also did a test that had the square, the Rapsodo, and the Garmin R50. And the similar case was with that the square was consistently 2 to 3 miles an hour on ball speed lower than the other units, and sometimes up towards like 5, 6, 7, 8 miles an hour slower on some of his. He hammers the ball, but sometimes upwards of 5 miles an hour slower with driver. So I don't know. Again, the reason why I say that, with 147, that one I tried to swing a little bit harder. It was low on the face, but realistically, if that was maybe 149, 150, I don't know. But all right. Well, I mean, I guess, at least for the sake of the video, that's another good one. So another one that was, I'm pretty sure it was locked in. It's been in the same spot every time. Another no read with the white. So, and another, I'm surprised again. I thought initially we had a good stretch there. It went 5 out of 5. And now over these last 5, we hit 5 and then 5, and now we're up to 15. So we got 2 no reads out of those. I guess we took 7 swings because it registered 5. But that was kind of the conclusion I was expecting to see. My little side bungee over here keeping the net straight popped off over there, so that's why that thing moved a little bit. But I think I'm back to where I expected to be with this video. That in fact, I'm sure there'll still be a couple that you get no reads with the black ones, but I do think if you guys can, they're so cheap anyways, stick to, I've heard black and blue tees work the best, but to me it would make the most amount of sense with the contrast of the square looking for the bright white ball. I would stick to black, and they're so cheap. Either use just regular black wooden or plastic tees if you're putting them into a mat like this Country Club Elite mat that I can do, or if you're using rubber tees like this, just buy some black ones. It'll save yourself the frustration of something like that, where possibly if you it always seemed to be the ones that I would swing harder and feel like I hit really good and I have to redo them. Save yourself some frustration on shots, either playing the square courses or on GS Pro, to where you have to stand on the tee box and possibly hit 2, 3, 4 shots in a row. That was high toe. And I think that loud noise was the tee hitting the tarps back here. I don't know where that went. So I'll probably call it quits on that. Only 141 on that one. I'll have to find that rubber tee after. I'm pretty sure that thing flew up. I'm pretty sure it hit back here. And it's somewhere back here possibly. But I won't bore you guys with that. So I think, again, I mean, I could have just sat here for 2 hours straight going back and forth and seeing how many shots I got, but in that limited test, it was about 20 minutes, we did get 2 no reads from the white rubber tee, and we didn't get a single no read from the from the black tees. So leads me to feel pretty comfortable to say, which is what I found before during live streams and actually playing some courses. The black tees were much more consistent and much better. I would recommend personally getting yourself some black tees as opposed to white ones and eliminate that from the equation of possible things that could go wrong with the square. But like always, curious to hear your thoughts down below. Curious if I could do anything else. I know some people, they're a little bit tribal with the tees that they use. Some people swear by those burr tees. Other people swear by the K2 tees. Some people will only use regular wooden tees or plastic tees. Personally, I'm a big fan of these rubber tees, and for how cheap they are, again, it was like 13 bucks for a pack of like 50 of them. They don't break. They don't really go flying everywhere as opposed to regular tees. For whatever reason, with the Country Club Elite mat, when you're hitting driver, the tees, when you put them into the actual mat, they go flying and they go all over the place. That one I know, that was a pretty poor shot, but that one went back there. But the rubber tees, they don't really make a mess. They don't break. You can reuse them tons and tons of times. And personally, what I do is I use them here, and I keep it constant too, and I put them, bring them with me in my bag, and I use them on course as well. So let me know down below any comments, questions, concerns, recommendations, things you'd like to see me test. I have one more kind of tee-related test I'm going to do after this, and then maybe I'll play a couple here now that I got actually some better weather that's not 17 degrees out here. But like always, shout out to the members that have joined the channel. If you guys are curious, really appreciate the extra support. You get your name at either the start, the end, or both of the video. If you become a member, you can click the join button on the channel. I also have a link in the description. It has a link to go over it that says join the channel. But consider that. I really appreciate it. Shout out to the members that have joined. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.